There we go. We are live on YouTube. And we're live on Facebook. Greetings, petrolheads, and welcome to romrom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing. Today, again, with a race by the Assetto Corsa friends, but today the race is a one-off, a very special race. It's Le Mans Classic, and as you can see already, these are not cars from this century. These are old cars. These are LMP 900s and GT cars from yesteryear. It's a one-off, as I said, that the Assetto Corsa friends are doing just for fun, and today you won't be hearing Cody, at least not right now, but we have an old acquaintance that we haven't heard, unluckily we haven't heard for a long while. Tom, how are you doing? Glad that you could make it.
Hello, sir. So, hello, everyone. Hope we are well and keeping ourselves busy with, through still a challenging time with the pandemic and everything. But other than that, we're still able to watch some brilliant virtual racing. And, of course, this one-off Le Mans event, a classic Le Mans event involving LMP 900s, GTSs and GTNs. It should be quite an interesting day of racing.
Fantastic. I'm very happy to have you here. It's been a long while, and it's cool that you could make it for this race. A question to the chat in the stream. How is the sound? Let us know if the sound mix is okay, if one of us or both should be louder or less loud, if the sound from the motor should be louder. Just let us know, as the mix that we have here does not always correspond to the mix that you guys and gals hear out there.
So we've just watched Bernhard post a quicker lap time to put himself up into P2 overall. That'll be in one of the LMP 900s. You can see on the classification on the left-hand side is the overall. So not just showing one particular class. See, that's an LMP 900 of Beer in the number 20. I don't know if he improved his time, but I know someone's just leapfrogged behind him on the screen. This is Pristas in the number 27 Porsche. They're heading towards... I'm trying to remember the name of that corner. I know there's one corner which I do remember. That's called Indianapolis at the Circuit de la Sarve, otherwise known as Le Mans.
That's why I as we are always calling the different corners and so on, I thought it a good idea, as Assetto Corsa offers that, to put the names of
I wish I could,
the different places into the stream. So now you can see we're at the Ford chicanes and so on and so forth. So this is something that we're starting to offer now. Hey, thanks for following, kiddo. I suppose that's the name that that you go for, or is it Kid Zero? Just let me know. All right, we are on a qualifying, if I remember correctly. Yes, the race should be starting soon enough.
So just looking further down on screen, that is the number 29. Let's see who it is. The name on that. The number 29.
It's Walia.
Apologies, as the resolution on my screen was ducked down for a moment. That's why I couldn't see the name for a moment. But either way, going through the last couple of chicanes and over the line, is this going to be an improvement for him? think it was an improvement there. I couldn't tell because of the way the leaderboard had changed. But Valia has, I think he's leaped up a few positions.
All right, qualifying has ended and we will start the race. Normally it's about 3 minutes after qualifying, so we expect to be starting the race quite soon. This is going to be a 2-hour race with no driver change. But I think they have to make one pit stop, if I remember correctly. So one obligatory pit stop, no driver change, 2 hours of classic Le Mans racing.
We're waiting just a few minutes then before the race does begin. Maybe we could run down on the grid as well, Serta, and find out who is lined up. I think Kraus is on pole position. One of the LMP 900 cars. The Toyota
good times,
GT1.
Toyota.
So he's in the Toyota. Yeah. So Bernhard in the Mercedes and CLR LM. We've got Diakovsky in the number 60 Lotus Elise GT1. And then it's Tonison in the number 66 Porsche 911.
Anyone that has watched other races that we show is going to recognize some of these names like Smithster or Azulin Match. Of course, the Assetto Corsa friends are taking the opportunity to drive in these one-of and drive cars that they normally don't drive. You will know many of these names from the 911 Super Cup that we bring to you almost every Friday, at least every Friday that the Assetto Corsa friends do their 911 races.
Of course, those who don't normally watch endurance racing, obviously they will know Le Mans. The Sav is the host. 24-hour Le Mans. I have to say I enjoyed it quite a bit this year, that particular event, with my colleagues who had stints in the commentary box for it. Fantastic. But it is quite a draining event for the mechanics involved, who have to maintain like hydration and fitness throughout the event. So I'd be interested to sort of know how it feels to be racing either in Le Mans or being a mechanic in Le Mans for 24 hours. But for this instance tonight, on the virtual side of things, it will be a 2-hour event. As Sirs has just mentioned, at least one pit stop, but no driver changes are necessary.
You're saying it correctly, at least one pit stop. It may be that we're going to see more because there are some tricky places at Le Mans.
And plus as well, the straights, take obviously a lot of strain on the engine. That way it consumes a lot of the fuel. So surely these drivers won't want to be racing, under a full tank and think that they're going to go to the end of the race on, without stopping at all. Otherwise, they're just going to lose too much speed and too much time in comparison to other drivers. Obviously, there's going to be faster cars out on track than the others. Yeah, it should be a very compelling event to keep an eye out on how everyone is doing in each class. The top 11, they'll be in the LMP 900s. They are indicated in sort of black stroke grey with the numbers in front, and the green ones, I believe, are the GTSs, and then the reds are the GTNs, unless you know better, Serta.
and the one car in white is just one of our cars, Assetto Corsa. Well, we have to use a trick to be able to show you the race, and that's Tom and I are gonna be in cars in Assetto Corsa, but of course not driving. Truth to be told, you would not want me to drive against these these pilots. They are much better than I will ever be.
So we're still waiting on the cars. Oh, there we go. Look, the cars are lining up on the grids. I'll let you take the start here, Serta.
Yeah, we still have 3 minutes to go, and we're gonna be seeing all the cars one by one that are going to be taking care here, that are gonna be racing here, and with the names, as you can see, wonderful liveries. I don't know why the game is acting so strange, but I do expect that this is something that we have at the beginning. Gerard's that we see right now is, of course, the person that started the Assetto Corsa Friends and the leader of the team organizing all these races.
We're just having a glimpse of the number 23 of Gerard, who is competing. Just looking to see which make of car it is. It's actually a prototype Cadillac. It's a very nice machine, is that?
He would not miss it for the world. Less than 2 minutes.
So are we expecting a rolling start or a standing start here?
Oh,
Serta?
yes. Thanks for asking. Absolutely. The first lap is going to be done behind the safety car. And only at the end of the first lap, the safety car is going to go into pits. So it's going to be a rolling start.
Thanks for clearing that one up. I thought it'd be a rolling start because they only do rolling starts in the Endurance Championship. One, because of how many cars are involved, and two, you've got cars in different classes. They're not going to be able to, you can't. Just using as a real life Le Mans example, you can't have an LMP2 fighting an LMP1 on pace at the start, and it can cause all sorts of chaos. So that's why they do rolling starts rather than standing starts to those who don't necessarily follow sports car racing or endurance racing in general.
"30 seconds to start." Well, why am I saying it as if it would be so interesting? They're gonna start behind the safety car, so that's not gonna be, and that's not the safety, the real safety car. That's one of us, so to speak. As you may or may not know, Assetto Corsa does not have rolling starts. So for Assetto Corsa, it's gonna be like a normal start. But there's always tricks and ways around it. Now we see the safety car slowly moving forward so that he's at the front and the other cars behind him. There we go.
So we should not see any overtaking from these guys. They should know the procedure. If it comes to the safety car will lead field round. They go.
If they do any overtake, they're gonna get a slap on the wrist. So,
well, in case they're oblivious to the fact that they are under safety car conditions. But here we go then. So there is the number 28. It should stay in front of, should say, in front of the 95 of Bernhard in the Mercedes-Benz. Of course, the livery, of that Mercedes just reminds me back in the days of the Sauber Mercedes, of which someone called Michael Schumacher obviously raced in that before he made his F1 debut in 1991.
Really? I wonder what kind of career he had after that. I mean, I remember his one race in DTM, and that was not a good race.
I haven't seen what he has been like in DTM, but he obviously driven in a Sauber Mercedes before his Formula 1 debut. Of course, he would have been very young as well. He would have been either like 20 or 21. And he was competing, I think he competed alongside Karl Wengler from Austria, with someone else who you may remember, Surter, who of course raced for the Sauber Mercedes team in Formula 1 in the team's first couple of years.
So at least now that things are easy and quiet relatively, we can take a look at Le Mans in all its glory, all its length also. What people don't realize is this is a really long track. I think it's about 3 minutes and a half that pilots normally do when they're driving on Le Mans, and that's a long while. Normally, when you're driving, the modern tracks are made so that in about 1.5 to 2 minutes you have done a lap. As I said, not so in Le Mans. So it's not as bad as Nordschleife, where I think you need 7 to 9 minutes depending on which car you're driving, and not as complex as Nordschleife, but still you have to remember where your braking and throttle points are, and what is coming next. It's not as easy as other tracks, and that's not the only reason. Of course, Le Mans, the 24-hour track, is partly quite normal street track, and that has the standard difficulties that come with street tracks.
The only thing I would say about the Nordschleife is that the difference between Nordschleife and Le Mans is that the Nordschleife has more undulation, which is why more dangerous to race on than at Le Mans, where it's flatter. Going back to what you were saying about the length of it, it's 13.6 kilometers is the full length with the chicanes included. 8.4 miles, in case you wanted a conversion of that. So we're raring to go here. The safety car will be ducking into the pit lane. We end this and we'll get this 2-hour event underway. In terms of the daylight transition, so will it go as quickly as real time, or is there like a sort of a ×2 or a ×4 or a ×10 sort of day to night transition?
Assetto Corsa normally does not have this daylight transition 24-hour cycle, but of course with the CSP and Soul mods, it's possible to do. But as far as I remember, and I would have to look it up, as far as I remember, there's not gonna be a speed up time and not a day-night transition.
So the drivers are going to be coming towards, I think they're in the last sector now. Yes, they are, because they're just going through the sort of Porsche, Pons and Cartinesses. And they'll be coming towards the Ford and Recordment chicanes. and we should get underway with some green flag racing.
Safety cars in. And there we go, race has started. And already Bernard loses one position. As Cody always tells us, and he's right, normally you cannot win the race in the first laps, but you can very much lose or throw away the race in the first laps. Some movement. We see Ferry and Zegers taking position. No, there's a fight between Zan and Ferry. Yes, Tom, what were you saying?
Yes, I was just... I forgot what I was going to say something. I forgot what it is. Yeah, it'll come back to me in a moment.
Look at that. That's a classic McLaren in the classic McLaren colors. Yes, sir.
They're coming towards one of the back straights now. This is what's called the Gantard, or the Nodia.
Match overtaken Frey. Ooh, Armeanu seems to have had an issue. And Diakowski, who won the last 911 race, has to give his position to Krause. Lots of stuff going on everywhere, of course. The automatic camera cannot see everything and everywhere. Bernard quite near to Diakowski. Let us watch that. Aye, they touch! They touch and lose control. Bernard and Diakowski off. They're gonna lose, both are gonna lose positions because of that. Eesh.
I'm at the moment out of sync on the stream, so we'll have a look to see what is actually up in between the drivers. And there we go, look, that's the Mercedes of Bernard spinning. Yeah, so that's a pair of them off the racetrack. And they continue. So yeah, they've lost time and places, but at least they stay within the same sort of field within their own class. Actually, they're not falling to the back of the field otherwise, so they've been picking up cars one by one. You know, it's greater speeds than what they would have been, but they would have lost time being stuck behind them. So this leads Kraus in front, and in second place is just looking to see who it is. It's Tonison in what looks like the Porsche 911. Second position now.
Bernard and Diakowski fighting for position. Ooh, going wide. Yeah, I'm not sure that Diakowski's overtake was clean. But they have a system that recognizes that, and if it was not clean, he's gonna get a penalty.
We're just looking at the number 60 of I haven't seen the contact yet. I think this is going to be the... Yeah, he's coming into the Ford chicanes now. Did see someone go off track, so I don't know if he made contact with him or whatever, but the way he's through, and the driver's complete. First lap with Rose out in front.
So we're at Ferry. Ooh, trading a lot of paint. Ferry and Zahn trading a lot of paint between each other, fighting it off. I don't know if what Zan was doing there, what Fairy was doing there was clean because he was wiggling a little bit around. Not what you want to see when you have somebody in front of you. Oh, and Match loses control. Whoa, what happened there? Match and I think it was Keller losing control both, but they did not touch. Strange. Camera is gonna be jumping a little bit as there are many fights going on. We see Beer, Diakowski and a little bit behind Bernard fighting for, yeah, 4th position, 3rd even if we count Tibor.
I just saw Mesh having his moment, so he's dropped down the order to 18th overall. And he's 6th in class at this moment of time. So the gap between Kraus and Theonis is half a second. There's Diakowski who's making up for lost time as he has to make a move there on... Is that a Cadillac he's trying to get through? I'm not 100% sure if it is. But they're all making their way through what is effectively the second lap of the green restart. It says 2 laps, but that's because we had the first one of them behind the safety car, so that we had a rolling start to begin this race.
And we see Beer being dangerous to Gerard's. By the way, Bernard had a moment there and lost control. Beer overtaking Gerard's with no problem at all. At the front,
yeah,
we
so
have...
Bernard's dropped down the order to 10th place. So...
Yeah, he somehow spin off, unluckily. At the front, Krause is getting some good traction, and Tennyson, who was only half a second away, is now 2 seconds away. So it seems that Krause... Oh, of course, if Tennyson is driving like that, he's gonna be losing time. There we go. He lost half a second already again. So I expect that Krause is gonna be able to take it easy soon enough.
Krause extending his margin over a second in front of Tianis. We saw Beer getting by Gerard, so the 2 Cadillacs fighting over 4th place. And we were mentioning Bernard that who dropped down the order, so he's now second to last in class, in the LMP 900 class that is. He's just made up a position actually on their T-bot to go up into 9th place now. Now we are back to the leader of pros. Well, I can see pros on my stream anyway. As we can see, Azlin in what looks like the... Trying to recognise which machine it is on that. So Azlin, who was in
Keller taking the position of Frey. Now Frey taking the position, so these two at the back of the race are fighting for pride mostly.
Just to fill myself in, Azlin is racing in what's called a Dodge Viper.
Yep.
So you can see Keller in the number 63. He's about to overtake Fry now, and that was a good overtake actually, keeping it clean as well. And part of that was the fact that he got better exit speed coming out of the final chicane before the pit straight. That's what got him in front of the moment, but he's dropped back from him. I wonder why that may be. Oh, that explains it, because Fry is in a different class to Keller, so we thought Keller got in front of him for a moment, but yeah, Fry's pace advantage explains it, because he's in the GTS class and Keller is in the GTM.
And I think that what's hot at the moment is the fight between Gerards and Beer, which has been going on for a while, and I don't expect it to change anytime soon. Now at Indianapolis, ooh, but Beer lost control and landed on the wall. Ah, what a pity. And he lost control all by himself.
We've just seen Gerard going past Beer, so Gerard passing number 5, Sister Cadillac. So he goes through. I think I'm about to see the same image as what you've just seen, Serta, so give you my feedback on it. And yet Beer just lost it all by himself, got onto the dirty stuff offline, gone into the wall. I don't know if he's picked up damage from that, but he's dropped down the order and he should rejoin well clear of T-Bar, who's another dozen seconds or so behind him anyway. So Gerard can pull clear. Well, he's already 10 seconds behind Diakovsky and over 19 off the lead.
So at the moment the positions are all quite settled, although no, Prista's maybe getting nearer to Annendorp. Well, there's still a way to go between Prista's and Annendorp, almost a second, but there could be something going on. Tibor in the pits. That may be some repairs that are going on. Oh, Bevan disconnected from the server. The two other cars that you're seeing in the pits right now are just Tom and me. Don't mind us.
Yeah, this is T-Bar. Well, I've just seen T-Bar go into the pits there. I would have thought he's picked up damage. It's too early in the race to be stopping for fuel, so he should get out relatively clear of all those in the GTS class. He should go in front of the Ferrari of Dorison.
And Diakowski just used a small or big enough error by Krause to take second. And by the way, to those who know Assetto Corsa and hear us talking about driver changes, yes, we know that Assetto Corsa normally is not made for endurance, and therefore there are no driver changes in the standard Assetto Corsa, but there is a couple of mods, and the Assetto Corsa friends use those that allow to do driver changes within Assetto Corsa and allow them to do endurance races the way that endurance races should be done. You may have already seen it, as we already did show one of the big endurance races by Assetto Corsa friends, just in case you didn't, letting you know. So Assetto Corsa does not support endurance, does not support driver changes, but with mods, like almost everything that has to do with Assetto Corsa, with mods you can change that.
So we've just seen that Diakovsky got through on Krause, and Krause just lost it before they went through the Mulsanne straight. So we can just see one of the cars going slow. There's that Mesh who's just gone slow, because that's his second moment of the race. I wonder if he's got a problem there, Serta.
Could very well be. I don't see anything in the live timing about any issues, but that doesn't mean anything. The live timing here does not show us if something's broken.
See Annendorp through the Porsche curves. He's in 5th place at the moment. he's less than a second actually off Shiraz, so he's having a fairly decent race so far. He's got two. He's got a Mercedes and a Ferrari behind him. Bernard in the Mercedes and Pristas in the Porsche. I think we could well see an overtake manoeuvre shortly actually, because the Mercedes is all over the back of Anandov. But having said that, Bernard was one of those that fell back after a spin earlier in the race, so he's someone who is making up for lost time here. He's run wide at the 4 chicanes.
Yeah, now he DNF'd. That may have been a technical issue that he had, because I didn't see him touching anybody else, and then he was off, could not start the car, and he seems to have disconnected from the server. Oh, bother.
Do hope he comes back though. So we would want to see a fight at the front all the way to the end of this one. So Schramm in the McLaren in 8th place now. Mr. and T-Bar will leapfrog Bernard very shortly.
And we see some nice fighting between Keller and Match.
Just looking at the gaps at the moment, I mean, Almondov's still within a second of Shirar in the fight for 4th place. They're pretty much in the back of their own as Pristas has dropped back from these two, so for Shirar, he's 18 seconds behind Kraus now, so is it going to be potentially just the 3 drivers battling it out for overall victory? You can see the number 63 of Keller in one of the GTNs.
And as you can see by the best times, these drivers need around 4, a little bit less than 4 minutes per lap.
Or can Keller close in? As I think he just got overtaken actually by Mesh, who he's going to be coming back through past the GTN cars, and he'll be back within sync of all those within GTS. We're heading back to the battle for 4th position between Gerard and Anandov in the Cadillacs.
Apologies for the small black that you saw. My monitors were having a moment.
You can see a change of position actually as Pristas gets past Beer for 6th position. So that's one of the Cadillacs dropping down the order there. The Porsche moving up to 6th place now. As Beer can fight back. The Porsche curves. I think we've just seen a new fastest lap by Diakovsky. I think he's just gone purple in the last sector.
What you clearly can see
can
if
be
you
a
follow...
good drive coming out of the 4 chicanes. Go on then.
Yep, Beer overtaking, regaining his position, but I'm pretty sure these guys are gonna be fighting it out. Also because now they're on Mulsanne, which is a long straight. So the car with the best top speed is gonna be the one who's gonna come out rosy. Then you have the chicane, and the straight continues. So, oh, seems that Pier's car has clearly the better traction. What is also interesting, if you look at the time differences that Annendorp is having, he's reducing up to half a second and then growing to 1 second. That has, of course, to do with the different corners and the straights here at Le Mans. So when both drivers, Gerard and Annendorp, are nearing the corner, the difference gets smaller, but then when they are on the straight, it gets bigger once again. Diakowski is quite near to Tennyson, so to speak.
Yeah, because the leaders are now within 1.5 seconds of each other, so that's the battle we should be watching right now. So,
and of course, they are overtaking GTs, and that's always a difficult thing up to a point, and a thing that can bring drivers near to each other.
Yeah, they're just going past one of the GTNs. I can't quite tell which GTN that is. They're trying to see by the car number. Quite see it anyway, but Diakowski remaining in touch. Kraus will want to get by GTN very, very quickly. He hasn't done so yet, and he's dropped back critically from these guys.
And what is interesting,
he's lost 3 seconds at least on the leaders. It's okay, I was just mentioning Kraus has just dropped back from the top 2 because he was trying to get by the GTN through the Corvette corners and the S's. So yeah, he's lost about 3 seconds, I would say, on the leaders by trying to get through on that back marker.
Yeah, those overtakes of the GTs can always be quite a changer in the race. And what we're seeing now is Annendorp again being dangerous to Gerard's position. Let's see how this is gonna end up.
So yeah, they're pretty much within 2 tenths of each other now. So they're fighting through the first section of the circuit. It's the S's. They'll be coming towards what is known as the Tertre Rouge, and the Mulsanne Straight. They go down, and this is going to probably be the best chance of which Annendorp is going to get through on Girard.
Getting nearer. Looking if there's some space. Thinking better. The renowned Michelin chicane. And of course, because Gerard and Annendorp are fighting, Beer is able to come near to these two, as always in racing. So if Annendorp is not able to take the position soon, it's gonna be a 3-sided fight.
So Annendorp, this is the closest battle we've got on track at the moment, as Girard and Annendorp fights over 4th position. Azalin, who is in the Piper in second in class, 12th overall. It's half a dozen seconds off Dorison in the Ferrari. And at the moment, Valia is leading out of all the GTNs. And number 29, he's in the battle with Mesh at the moment, so it could be an interesting battle to see how that one plays out as the leaders go past one of the GTN cars.
Oh, Tibor took Schramm's position. How wonderful to see the classic McLaren colors.
So we're just seeing...
Oops!
I'm just seeing Valia and Mesh go through the Dunlop and Ford chicanes. The Dunlop chicane, I should say.
Walia lost control. What we're seeing is Diakovsky now half a second away from Tennyson. We could very soon see a battle for first, with 1.5 hours to go in this race. If you are new to the race, this is a special race, 2 hours of at Le Mans with classic cars. These are not your modern LMPs or LMH or whatever. These are classic Le Mans cars, 2 hours at Le Mans with no driver changes but one obligatory pit stop. Just a one-off. Go ahead.
Yeah, so with Valia's mistake, Keller's gone through into the lead of the GTN class now. So Valia rejoins in second place. What I was going to ask as well, this is in relation to the into sports cars. I think for the World Endurance Championship in particular. I think in a few years' time, I remember when I was watching the 24-hour Le Mans, I think there was something mentioned about how the cars are going to be sort of powered in a way, and there was something to do with this sort of wine reduction thing. Liquids which are used in wines that are going to be used, and I was quite intrigued by it. I don't know if you know anything about it, so it's in a few years' time.
Ethanol?
In terms of how. Yeah, maybe ethanol. Yeah, I mean, maybe ethanol.
I would have to look it up because I may be misremembering, but I think that IndyCar uses a mix of ethanol and gasoline in the cars. Ooh, a moment there as Beer is trying to find a way around the GT car. And of course, Gerard's, and Beer is getting there. So let me check it out. What the fuel mix is gonna be for the LMH cars.
So we watch Beer as he closes in on Gerard now, who's getting held up by. Looks like one of the GTNs. It's a Porsche, I think, actually. Is it a Porsche which they're going through? It can't be a Porsche if it's a GTN, but either way, Gerard and Beer have got past it now. We're heading towards the left-hander, what should be a left-hander. There's a couple of kings actually on this straight. It's not the Mulsanne straight. This is Indianapolis that they're going through now. So these two head through. And then into Arnudge. Number 8. Look into the inside actually. Yeah, and they're going side by side on almost side by side from what I saw on the screen. Now they're going to go through this next straight here.
Tennyson DNF'd. Oh bother. What a pity.
Yeah, I've just seen him on the graphics dropping down the order. So Tennessee, I don't know if he's disconnected. I hope he does get back in, or it's just a matter of if it's a disconnection, that's an automatic DNF.
Okay, so trying to find out the fuel mix of the LMH, I landed in the technical regulations by the FIA. I'm not gonna go through those. Too many pages. That's 100 pages of regulations.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's going to be an awful lot. Yeah, there's going to be an awful lot of what we could go through, though. Having said that, it is an endurance race, so we've got plenty of to talk about anyway throughout this one. So we're just seeing Dokowski, who's in the lead now, thanks to Tinson's DNF. Hopefully he'll come back in should he reconnect with the server. So yeah, that's 2 of the LMP 900s out of the race already. We've only just gone through the first quarter of this one.
And Beer takes Schramm's place.
So Beer behind Girard, both move up to 3rd and 4th now. And just going through Mulsanne. Now Girard is 38 seconds off Kraus in 2nd. So it looks like a two-way fight for the victory now. This is Beer going to the inside, and Valia looks like he's had another moment at the Dunlop curve. Just before that, exiting the 4 chicanes. But either way, he's fallen down a few more positions, hasn't he?
Yeah, but what I'm looking now is we have Gerard is now 2 seconds away from Beer, but I'm sure this is going to change soon. And Annendorp is less than 1 second away from Gerard's. So I think these three, the fight for, or the battle for 3rd, is gonna be with us a while during this race, as they are always getting half a second here, half a second there, so that's gonna be interesting. Oh, Prishta's lost control, has gone off at Mulsanne, at the entry of Mulsanne to be precise. As does
Mr. So just watching Annendorp go. So Annendorp's just going through Mulsanne now on my screen, and Prishta is a further 10 seconds off. Probably about to have his spin now from the stream that I can see. Yeah, he's gone into the barrier. I think what's happened is he's caught the curb as he got the power down and just got an awful load of wheel spin and just threw him nose first into the barrier at Mulsanne. So that's Smithster going off track. He's down in what is now 9th place actually out of all those remaining of the LMP 900. I think. Is Tonis back in now? I think Tonis is back in play, Serta.
It seems very much so. Of course, he is about a lap down or half a lap down. But let's see what he can do. I'm just, as far as I can see, the LMH cars are gonna have a 10% ethanol in the fuel from renewable sources, which is something that if you're in Europe you are accustomed to, as many of the fuels that you put in your tank nowadays, the E10s and E7s and E5s, have a fuel mix of gasoline and ethanol.
So that's where the wine reduction thing has come from then.
May very well be.
So, yeah, well, I think I heard from someone called, I think it's called Chris, who was in the commentary box for stints of the 24-hour Le Mans this year, and he was basically discussing about it, and I was actually intrigued by it when he was discussing it with other commentators like Mark Cole and others involved. But yeah, I've just seen that Tonis is still dropping down the order, so he may be back in the server, but not in control of his car yet. So we are hoping that he will be back in play shortly. And Keller is in the pits now, by the looks of things.
A little bit soon for a standard pit stop, but who knows?
I was just saying, if you look on the graphic, I think Keller and Armenu, on the right hand side of their graphic, it's saying P on it, so I was just thinking, is that being in the pits?
Yes.
I think it is because
Absolutely.
yes, because it shows the compounds as well. You can see a little M or a little S that indicates medium or softs, and the letter P, which sort of sits in a little bit in comparison to them to say that the drivers are in the pits. So that's something to clear up for those watching. It's just seen Tuanisan drifts his way through the Porsche curves, and that's Smister who's gone off again. I think he's trying to get into the pits. He's just gone in a bit too quickly there. So Smister in the BMW entering the pits for the first time. And I think with it being this early in the race, I can imagine it could be a three-stopper.
Yeah, it's a little bit soon to go into pits, truth to be told. But on the other hand, if you start with low fuel and softs to get a good position and to get a good heads up to the others, it might be one of the things that you would do. I wouldn't, but on the other hand, I'm not Smister.
Valia diving past Sol. I think Valia's on fresher tyres actually, hence why he dropped back a few positions when he pitted. So, but yeah, he's coming back through now into third position in GTM as Dorison in the Maison Blanche. Sorry, no, saying the Maison Blanche. He's going through the Maison Blanche as the go back to Sol, who's just been overtaken by Valia a moment ago. He's 11 seconds clear of Brookshire, who's also going through the Voltzer chicane. And there's Brunga, who's further down the order, 23rd overall. Ahead of him, I think Tuanice has just gone past him. So it's going to be a bit of an interesting action actually to watch Tuanice make his way through the field before he does catch up to those within the LMP 900.
Interesting.
And Kraus is past Diakowski actually, although briefly.
There's some of the drivers that have now gone into pits, so it seems to be the strategy for many of them that they have set their cars up so that after 40 minutes, around about 40 minutes in the race, they go and visit pits and I suppose change tires and fuel up. If they are fueling up until the end of the race is something that we cannot see here.
Diakowski and Kraus have just come into the pits together, and the gap is now 1.7 seconds. Now, I don't know who has put what fuel in terms of how much, but we can only assume they're maybe doing like a similar strategy. We'll see how quickly Kraus can actually close in.
What a beauty these cars are, by the way. It's worth it. It's worth it watching the race, even if only to see all these classic cars, partly in their classic liveries, as is, for example, with the McLarens, as is the case with the McLaren. Wonderful cars. On the other hand, let's see what the LMH cars are going to be bringing as soon as we see them. Very interested, while I'll have a tear in my eye always because we won't see the LMPs ever again racing. I'm very interested to see what is gonna happen with the LMH cars and how they are gonna perform, how the races are gonna be.
So we can see in our picture that Fry, who's 4th at the moment in ETS, 13th overall, 4th in GTS, is behind Saar now, the Lamborghini. As I think, was that Tianese who's just gone through? No, it's not. I think Vali's just trying to get through on Arminu, who I don't believe has been in the pitch yet. But thinking about it, actually, Sirta, if you look on the at the top of the battle for the lead overall, Kraus is on the soft Robert, Diakowski's on the medium, and then
so
it's
then
pretty,
I would expect...
pretty just
I would expect Krause then to make at least one pit stop more than Diakowski. But who knows? I'm not one of these guys, and maybe they are doing different strategies. But if I'm on the mediums, I'm able, of course, to race much longer. I don't know how long the mediums, what the lifetime of the mediums is here on Le Mans on the LMP cars. So I am not sure how long on mediums you would be able to survive, if that means only one stop or if that means 2 stops yet. And we saw right now, while I was talking about the tires, how difficult it can be for the LMPs to navigate through the GT cars, just like in real life.
the TNEs has just passed all the GTN cars now. But looks no, it hasn't actually, because Keller is another 24 seconds up the road. But we've seen Dorison down. I think he's down. He's in 14th place actually. I think he may have come to the pits during this one, but he's going side by side with Fry, and he gets through at the Porsche curves, and he's doing to 4th now in the GTS class. So we could well see Dorison have a stint at the front here, because he's about to go. Ooh, he nearly went side by side with Zahn actually, didn't he? Yeah, because I think Dorison was leading the GTS cars before everyone pitted, so Dorison should take back the lead here. He's not got in front of Azalin, who's just come out of the pits, so Dorison has clearly lost too much time, been stuck behind traffic, and allowed Azalin to get in front of him to lead in GTS. Dorison's closed in gradually though, so it could well be he may put a little bit more fuel in the slot that he did, but he's still able to close in a little bit on Azalin in the fight for the lead in the GTS. I'm watching Valia now, who's second in class at the moment. As Keller, I don't know if Keller's already stopped in this race. Be interested to find out about that. I can see Keller in the picture I'm seeing as Tinderson goes past and trying to make through past all those he's not fighting with in terms of class. Smeester's gone off track at Dunlop. And Dorison's cut the gap down now to like 6 tenths and now 4 tenths, so we should be able to get a good run on Aslin on the pit straight. And it looks like he may have got through on him. Not yet. Not yet from what I can see. You can see the number 49 chasing the number 44 Viper. I think it's a Viper that Aslin is in. Yeah, it's a Dodge Viper that Aslin is in. As Dorison's in the Ferrari. So Adam Dorp in the Cadillac. He's still battling with Gerard at the moment in the fight for 4th place. We watch Aslin is about to lose lead in the GTS cars as Dorison goes to the inside as they enter the Forza chicane and the Ferrari's through. So Dorison back ahead, but for how long?
Yeah, not very long. There's gonna be a nice battle here. It seems that cars and drivers are near enough in their possibilities, so we're gonna be seeing this fight for a while, I suppose.
Dorison on the Mulsanne straight, just seen him go past Mulsanne straight, so you're a bit ahead of me in terms of timing with the stream, but not able to get through on him at the moment. It's Alan Dopp going through Indianapolis in the fight with Gerard. I mentioned that going on earlier.
Nice battle that we have there. Depending if you have the faster car or the slower car, it can also be a strategic thing where and when you pass your opponent. If you have the faster car, you will try to pass your opponent before the straight so that you have clean air and can drive away. I think this fight we're gonna be having it a while. Go ahead.
Yes, Tierney's is obviously closing in on the 2 GTSs, so it won't be too long before he gets ahead of him. But once he does get by Dorison and Aslin, got 2 minutes to make up on Smeester.
Can be everything and nothing. 2 minutes is not that much anymore. I mean, come on, it's only half a lap.
Well, what I would say, I mean, 2 minutes is a lot to gain in any race, if I'm honest with you. So he's, yeah, we just wait for him to catch up to Aslin and Dorison as T-Ball comes into the pits. I think that's his 2nd stop of the race, unless I'm mistaken, or maybe his 1st one.
Dorison loses control of the car. What a pity. This means the end of the fight. It's lost 7 seconds with that spin. What a pity. That was looking up to be an interesting fight, but of course, if you are not able to keep your car in control, there's no fight.
Yeah, he's just lost it where it's called Rouge. It's called Rouge something. Aslan's back into the lead now of the GTS class, and Dorison's got it with it all to do. So Tierney's is about to go past him as well without any issue. Able to get a good slipstream off him actually through the Mulsanne straight, and T-Ball's out of the race.
Yeah, DNF'd. Like in real life, the LMPs are a dying group here in this race.
That's another of the that's another of the LMP 900s in trouble. Gerard and Anandorp going through Indianapolis. Fight for 4th place at the moment, so I think this is going to go right to the very end, isn't it? Winning battle between the two Cadillacs.
Yeah. Cars are similar enough. Both drivers are good, as we have been seeing them in the 911 Super Cup from Assetto Corsa friends, so they know what they're doing. With regards to the number of pit stops and the strategies as we were discussing them, I had a very interesting, very nice conversation yesterday with one of the two developers of a system that it's something like a live system where you can see what the cars are doing and how many pit stops they've done and a lot of other interesting information. And they started developing it for real life, and it's already being used in some races, and now they are starting also to use it on sim races, and it's very interesting. I'll have a video about that ready in, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks. So if you haven't subscribed to the RomRom channel on YouTube, do so, because we have some very interesting information on that software that everybody will be able to use. It's already live and some of you may already be using it, but still everybody will be able to use that, and we're gonna present it in, I don't know, 1 to 2 weeks, depending on which other work comes in between my sim racing.
Tierney should move in front of T-Ball here, with T-Ball's DNF and Anandorp still the tail of Gerard as they go through the lots of chicane. So your leaders at the moment in all classes: Derek Karowski is 5 seconds clear of Kraus in LMP 900. Zlin in the ETS 8.5 seconds over Dorison. And then GTN Keller, who is shown in 15th place overall. He's a total of around about 20 seconds clear over Valia in 18th overall. So that's your update in terms of how this race is going as we approach the halfway point.
And in case you're new to this race, we are showing the Assetto Corsa Friends race of Classic Le Mans, 2 hours of which 1 hour has already passed. Funny how time passes when you're having fun. And it's a 2-hour endurance race with no driver swaps, but one pit stop. And as you can see, these are not modern cars, these are cars from yesteryear. I mean, not that far away, but still classic Le Mans cars. And if you're new either to our Twitch or our YouTube, if you're new to our streams, welcome! Make yourself cozy! cuddle next to the dog, scratch the cat's head, take a beer. We have non-alcoholic beers too if you don't like the alcohol, so hey, we have always a nice place.
It's a good opportunity to watch some virtual endurance racing as well, particularly for those who love the racing on Assetto Corsa. Watch Keller, who's moved up now to 14th overall because of T-Bob's retirement. He's had a fantastic race so far as Keller, hasn't he? In where he is now, because he's ahead of 3 of the GTSs.
Yeah, also quite stable. Of course, now that we've talked about him, we've jinxed it, and he's gonna go off at the next corner, because that's always what happens. Commentator's curse. But yes, quite stable race, just having his own rhythm and moving round by round.
Keller's, I'm just looking to see how far he's off the GTS of Fury. He's Ferry, I should say. He is over half a minute off, so I'm not expecting to trouble him. But maybe in the next round of pit stops, he may have a brief spell ahead of him.
Also, I've been taking a look at the different tires. Oh, Match loses control. Oh, what a pity. I've been taking a look at the different tires, and it's interesting. All the GTs are on mediums, while the LMPs are some on softs and some on mediums. Of course, the GTs not gulping up as much fuel as the LMPs do, are going on a more conservative strategy and seeing that they do avoid pit stops as much as possible. Hence the medium tires.
Just seen Mesh on my side going for a spin on the exit of the Mulsanne chicanes, and yeah, he's lost even more time. So he's had a race to forget, I would imagine, but at least he's still in the running, unlike a few. It'll be interesting to see who has set the fastest lap of the race so far. Now that we've done 16 laps of, well, technically 15, because we had that first lap under the safety car. In terms of who's had the best lap of the race, I think, is it Kraus who's had the best lap of the race so far? I think it is, you know, unless I'm mistaken.
No, Diakovsky. Diakovsky with 3 minutes 31.
Yeah, so Diakovsky with 3 minutes 31.7, so
at least with regards to the LMPs, and of course the LMPs are the fastest cars of them all here, so trying to find out how it is subdivided by classes. So out of the GTs, the Ryzen has had the best time with 3:53.4. And out of them all, It's being Diakowski.
Dokowski's 5.5 seconds clear of Kraus now. I think Kraus's tyres may be starting to fall away by this point, given that he's on softs and Dokowski's on mediums.
Quite possible.
Keller's dropped back. Yeah. Keller's dropped back from Khan now, who... not Khan, Zahn now. I don't know why I said Khan then. Zahn has gone past Keller. They go through the Michelin chicane. Keller will be trying to stay in touch with him. There's not an awful lot he can do, apart from just keeping up with the pace off him. The next car behind it. Oh, there's a collision between Brookshire and looks like Mesh, who have come together. I don't know if damage has been done to either car, but that was quite a nasty collision there between both drivers. Yeah, I think Brookshire's got damage. He must have had damage to the rear suspension as Mesh goes through.
All in all, the race has quieted a little bit. The fights that we were seeing, for example, are not there anymore. So we have at the LMP level, we have Diakowski, Krause, and Beer as the numbers 1 to 3. GTSs, I think they are. Take a look. Yeah, the GTSs it's Azulin, Horizon, and Zigas, and on the GTNs it's Keller by a lot, then Walia, and then Armeanu.
So should see another round of pit stops coming soon. Though if you remember, they came at around about the sort of between 1.5 and 20 minutes remaining. So expect to see more pit stops coming soon.
Walia in the pits. So you were absolutely right. And yeah, you expect that the LMPs are gonna go into pits, especially those on soft tires are gonna go into pits quite soon. Oh, Prishta's had a moment. And look at that! Who do we have here? Annendorp and Gerards all over again. I should do a highlights reel only with these two. That would be a lot of fun just to watch this fight all by itself.
Six seconds is the gap. Still, well, it's gone up to 6 seconds now between Dokowski and Kraus. Valia's pit stop has left him in third in class and 18th overall. I think someone else has just come into the pits as well. That may have been Sol coming in. Now we watch the leaders go past. Oh, Gerard and Annendorp sticking to each other like glue at the moment, haven't they?
Yeah. Ooh. But still, Gerard's, as we saw last week, Gerard's is quite good at making his car as broad as possible, as making as difficult as possible for the car behind to overtake. Oh, Azulin went off. The leader in the GT I'm gonna say it wrong, so I'm gonna watch. GTNs, I think, went off. Let's go back to Annendorp and Gerard's. We saw in the 911 race at Big Wheel. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I thought there was a car that went off one of the GTNs at the Mulsanne, of which Gerard and Annendorf had to take a little bit of evasive action, and they've just seen Aslan go really slowly through the S's before they get to the Tetra Rouge. So I think he's had a moment somewhere as Aslan. He's still in front of Dorison, who's just coming through in the Ferrari shortly. There we go. Look, just had a brief glimpse of him. Back to you, sir. So what you were going to say?
We saw in the race in the 911 Super Cup how Gerards and Tennyson were fighting for a position. I think it was the third position for a long while. So we do know that Gerards can make his car quite broad, and even when he's been overtaken, he can make it difficult for the overtake to stick. So it's always interesting to watch, and always interesting to see any fight, any battle that Gerards is involved in. Annendorf now only 1/10 of a second away from Gerards as they go through the SS, quite at the beginning of the track. Ooh, Gerard's going wide. That did not cost him anything. And apologies to the other drivers if we're not showing you, but you're all in a quite calm and secure position while these two are battling.
Feels so satisfying seeing cars go through the Tetra Rouge, and then all the way down the first part of the Mulsanne straight.
Yeah, Le Mans has got his own taste. It's... While my favorite is Bathurst of all tracks that I've driven, maybe with a touch of Panama, for example, Le Mans is always a very interesting track to drive on.
I mean, my first experience of driving on the Le Mans, not in real life, but just like in the gaming side of things, was on a game called Race Driver Grid,
Yeah.
which is a bit of a throwback for me, because you used to contest the 24-hour Le Mans, not like real life 24 hours, but it sort of speeds the time up, as does like the daylight. So it obviously starts in the day, then goes through the night, and then ends in the following day.
At the end of every season, you drove Le Mans in grid, right?
Yes, that's right. So every season you do in your career, the last event you do at the end of every season is always the 24-hour Le Mans.
And it's a special event on grid. It's something that you can do, but you don't have to do. But it always brings you, I think it was budget, some money. I don't remember. It's a long while that I fired up grid the last time.
I've seen Annendorf thinking about a move on Gerard. Doesn't quite go for it from there, so I would expect these two to sort of come into the pits. And looking at what compounds they're on, it looks so that Gerard and Annendorf are in fact on the softs each. So it's imminent that they will be pitting again. It's just a matter of when.
Oh, and Smiths are having enormous issues with his car. He may have overcooked the tires or even broken something in the car. He went off, then he went off again, and then when he was trying to rejoin, he went off once again. What a pity.
Yep, so just because into the wall, the car just sort of aggled a little bit there, but he's rejoined now. Oh, he's gone for another spin. Yeah, so just sorry again, I'm watching it out of sync in comparison to what you're seeing, folks. So I do apologise for that. But yeah, this showed he needs to close in on him because he's not too far behind him now, is he?
What we're seeing now is Horizon and Azul. Oh! And as I say, Horizon loses control of the car. And there is no fight anymore between these two. I was saying that Horizon had been able to get near enough to Azulin to become dangerous, but now he isn't. Tennyson in pits. And one fight that's still going on, and I suppose it's gonna be going on for a long while, is Annendorp and Gerard.
Yes. I've just seen Dorison's spin Mulson, and yeah, that's quite a costly error for him. And he's dropped back a lot now from Aslan, who's away from him. So Schramm into the pits for McLaren in LMP 900.
And Annendorp
once
again.
In terms of the gap he's got over.
Annendorp once again very near to Gerard's, but we're gonna see how it goes. Krause, oh! Did Diakowski have a moment? Ah, no, there are Diakowski is in pit, Krause too, so that may change. At the moment we see Krause first, yeah, exactly. Now Diakowski leaving pits and therefore... Oh, Gerard's had a moment there, and Annendorp, of course, takes the opportunity. Says thank you very much for the place.
The top two of this race are in the pits together. And Diakowski leaving the pits now, and Krause needs to basically get on him now, as you can just see Gerard's had a moment, and Annendorp was able to get through. So Annendorp finally passing his fellow Cadillac. This is Dorison into the pits from second position in class. I'd like to know whether he'll get out in front of Seegers, who is at the moment 50 seconds behind him. And then Prishtas is off again. So Prishtas having a difficult couple of laps at the moment.
Oh, I'm coming back to the fuel mix, the conversation that we had a while ago. I don't think the ethanol that they're gonna put in the LMH is gonna come from wine. I'm pretty sure it's gonna come from some bioreactors, and they're not gonna take it away from wine in any kind of way. So maybe the commentator that was talking about it was trying to say, okay, there is ethanol in wine, and therefore was trying to make the connection there. Ooh, Mitch having problems, and therefore being overtaken. What was going on there? No. I thought that there was something going on between Gerard and Annendorp. By the way, Gerard was 3 seconds away from Annendorp. Now it's only less than 2 seconds away.
And Mesh has just had another moment through the S's, so he's dropping back all the time, isn't he? And Smith exiting the pits now. He's on the soft compound, I believe. So I would think he'll go to the end on those, although it's not certain he will be. Having said that, in the last 44 minutes of this 2-hour endurance race at Le Mans. This was to get in front of Smeaster, who would have to. He's like another 2.5 minutes behind Schramm.
So now that Gerard's went off, we don't have that fight between him and Annendorp. Things have calmed down everywhere. There were quite some differences, but of course, as soon as the LMPs have to overtake the GTs, depending on where they have to do that, that can change the race completely. While Le Mans leaves a lot of space to overtake, it still can be difficult if you're in one of the chicanes or something similar, and that's where the problems come. And there is more than enough chicanes at Le Mans.
Just look and see how many are still running in this race. I think they're all still running because we've got 9 of the P900s in there. We've got 6 GTSs and 5 GTNs in the top 20. And there's another few cars that are still running as well.
If I remember correctly, we started the race with 22. And we had... No, sorry. We started the race with 21 because number 22 was the safety car. So we have had 1 DNF as we are left with 20 racers.
Not sure if it is. I think there's still more than that. They're still running, but we'll have a look on the classification as it winds down.
Gerard takes the sausage too hard and almost loses it there. Interesting. I was expecting the LMPs to come sooner into pits, but it's not happening yet. We are not seeing all of them into pits. At least I was expecting the LMPs on softs to come into pits. They've been already, what is it, 40 minutes on softs, or am I wrong?
It'll be around that figure anyway. But I think Beer's back out on track now. Still in 3rd place. He's going to be. I think he's pretty much that's where he's going to end up by the end of this one, providing he keeps going. So Valia, 2 seconds off Kelly. You can see both of them in your picture look. So this is an interesting fight to keep an eye on Serta as the race enters the last third.
There we go. I lost control. Right off. Pushed us in pits. After that pit stop, Prishtas is now less than 1.5 seconds away from Schramm. There may be something cooking there. And we're seeing Zahn in the Lamborghini getting near to Zegers, who's also in a Lamborghini. And what I'm seeing here is that the overtakes, LMPs to GT cars are all quite calm, quite well done. So they had some discussions after the last endurance race that they had. Especially the LMP drivers were not happy with the way that the GT drivers have handled it. And it seems that those conversations have taken hold, as at least from this point of view, the overtakes, LMPs to GTs look quite well done, quite calm and without incidents.
So the battle between race leader Drakowski and Kraus is 6 seconds. Kraus is on the soft compound again, Drakowski on the medium, so Kraus needs to use that to his advantage and close in once more. And Tiernese is now 3.3 seconds behind Smeester, so I'd expect him to get onto the tail of him very, very shortly.
And we see Walia trying to find a place to overtake Keller. And he found it. Keller had a moment. His car got a little bit wiggly there. And Wallier was near enough to use that to his advantage. Prishta's now near to Schramm. He's been eating up the time. Sangin. Oh, beer goes off. That's gonna cost him a couple of seconds. Let's see how much time Annendorp can eat up from the difference. The GT's now going into pits. Many of them. I expect for the GTs this is gonna be the last time that they go into pits.
Yeah, I mean, there's around 35 minutes remaining, so I think the pit stops which are going to make are going to be their last ones. I don't know who is due in again. I know the top two. I know the top three have been in. I think Annendorp and Girard have been in also. So which of Annendorp and Girard? They're closing in on beer actually, but I think Annendorp and Girard are still due in to the pit one last time.
I would expect it to be. I would expect your supposition to be correct.
Because Annendorp and Girard are quite some way behind Beer, so I think the 7 seconds is too good to be true, which they're closing down that gap. I mean, they're closing down even more, to be fair, but I think that's partly because they're on lighter fuel load than the sister Cadillac. So Cadillac 3, 4, and 5, but Annendorp and Girard, as I've mentioned, are expected to be in the pits one last time.
Interestingly enough, he was... Well, no, he's been eating time away. He was 7 seconds away, and now he is 4.5 seconds away. Gerard is 4.5 seconds away from Annendorp. and doing his personal best.
Vali is leading in the GTN class, with Keller chasing him a couple of seconds behind. The battle is most certainly going to go to the very end.
Yeah, on the other hand, remember that Valia just overtook Keller, so I think that he's gonna be widening that gap. I don't expect to see a fight there anytime soon, but I may be wrong.
You can see Prishtas closing in on Shram actually for 6th place. As TNE's is now he's now 2.5 seconds. So no, 2.5 minutes away from them is TNE. So I think it's going to run out of time before he catches them, but he'll do his utmost to close in.
Yeah, his DNF did cost him the race at the end.
Probably going to. Yeah, we'll wait and see how he gets on. I think he'll close in around, I would say, at the very minimum 3 to 4 seconds a lap. Now, he's running at 3.5 minutes as a lap for the LMP 900s. So in the context of that, we've got around about 9 laps remaining.
Yeah.
10 laps, I would say, yeah. So I think he's going to run out of time before he catches up to them, but we'll see what he can do.
What a beautiful car that Porsche is. Ah, my heart bleeds for all the LMPs that were once.
And Kraus is in the pits now, Serta, from 2nd position. He's just rejoined. I wonder, it's quite a short lengthy pit stop. He must have had a quickest of pit stops, but I think he may have just drove through the pit lane, if I'm honest with you.
I unluckily on the live timing here, I cannot see any penalties that the drivers get, and therefore I'm not able to say if he was doing a drive-through penalty or not. This is a different live timing than the one that the Assetto Corsa friends usually use, and first of all, I'm not acquainted with this live timing, and second, it does not give as much data as the other live timing that I'm accustomed to see.
Like you were saying, Valia, who's stretching out the margin over Keller right now, 14th overall and first in the ETN class, as Keller is now falling 5.5 seconds behind him. You can see Zahn passing Fry, who's ducked into the pits, presumably for a final set of tyres. So he'll be aiming to get back to within range of those ahead of him who they're battling in class against.
Hey Noket Lihu, thank you very much for following. Scratch the cat on the head, make yourself cozy around the dog, take a place, take a beer, and watch the race while we see Fry losing control. What a pity.
Fry, I think, has just been in the pits, so
cold tires, maybe.
Yeah, cold tyres, I imagine. So he's probably done it through the Tertre Rouge, I would think. Yeah, so he's caught the curb and he's hit the barrier as well. I'm hoping that hasn't done too much damage to the car itself. In case you were wondering which actual manufacturing machine the Fry is racing for. In a Lister Storm GT.
Ooh, Horizon loses it at the SS. That may be an opportunity for Azalin. Horizon may have lost something like 7 to 12 seconds there.
Process going into the pits as Horizon, yeah, as you mentioned, he's had a spin. I think that's just before, well, he's spun at the S's. So he's lost crucial ground actually. He's going to rejoin. Still in front of Azalin on the road. When he does come in for a pit stop, he's going to be behind him. And he rejoins his, yeah, it's just before the Tetra Rouge. Just gone through now.
I mean, especially
In
endurance races, going into pits, changing tires can move you to errors as you are accustomed to a certain rhythm with the warm tires, the grip that they have and all that, and then you come with cold tires and you have cold tires, which is already an issue with the grip, and your rhythm is out of whack, and therefore you have two things that you have to take care of, and if you don't, you go off.
Diakowski's lead is half a minute now. We'll look to see if Kraus can actually close in on that gap as the minutes wind down with just under 27 minutes to go.
I'm not going to bet on it, but I would say that Diakowski will do at least one pit stop, but I suppose Krause is also going to do at least one pit stop.
And on that note, folks, I will have another I've got another commentary gig which I need to attend. So sadly, I won't be able to remain here between now and the checkered flag, but it's been a huge privilege being in the commentary box today, and thank you, Serta, for having me around for it. It's been entertaining.
Thank you very much for visiting. Anytime, mate, anytime. Have a great time in the other race. You're saying you're seeing other people?
Anyway, best of luck to the drivers and in the remaining minutes of that race, and keep me informed on what's happened.
Alright, have a nice one.
Speak to you soon.
Alright, what do we have here? We have Diakowski in first, in a quite secure first, so I don't expect him to have any issues with that. Diakowski, who won the last 911 Super Cup of the Assetto Corsa Friends at Big Willow. Second is Krause, 30 seconds away from Diakowski. Then the pilot that we're seeing here, Bier, is 1.5 minutes away from Krause. So there's not much that we're gonna be seeing there. What else? Dorizon. Even after the spin, he is half a minute away from Azalin. So also I don't expect anything to happen there. What is it between Gerards and Annendorp? Gerards is 10 seconds away from Annendorp, so both are on softs. If they are not coming into pits in the next, let's say, 5 minutes, I don't expect them to visit pits at all. What else do we have here? Walia is now in pits. Walia, who is the leader in the GTS class. Keller is 11 seconds away from Walia. Exactly, Keller now takes the position away from Walia. And if Keller does not need to go into pits, I think he's got then the position quite safe if he doesn't go into pits, as he's almost 10 seconds away from Walia. And that's how... Gerard's going into pits. I expect him to come out on softs. And I pretty much think that this is going to be a change of tires and some splash and dash, but not a long pit stop by any mean. And there he goes, he's out of pits. Of course, now the difference to Annendorp is over half a minute. Annendorp being dangerous to Beer, or kinda, less than a second away. Ooh, but he's taking the curves too aggressively. Yeah, that cost him a second. So we are 20 minutes away from the end of this 2-hour race on Classic Le Mans of the Assetto Corsa friends. These are not cars that drive anymore, or well, I suppose that the cars drive, but the official races at Le Mans are not made with these cars. They are made with newer cars, because these are classic Le Mans cars on the LMP 900, GTS and GTN classes. This is a one-off by the Assetto Corsa friends, who you may know because we have been showing their Porsche 911 Super Cup and are gonna continue showing it. It's a one-off just for fun, just to stretch the driver muscles and have some fun on Le Mans with these wonderful classic cars. We're seeing Walia, who was on pits and therefore was 10 seconds away. Now he's only 9 seconds away, but I don't think that in the 20 minutes that are left he's gonna be able to eat that time difference. Of course, if Keller goes into pits, then Walia is gonna regain his first position, but that is something that we don't know yet. We don't know how the strategy of Keller is. Annendorp, who was quite dangerous to Beer, is now 4 seconds away. So he lost the time somewhere or thought better of it. And Keller goes into pits, therefore I expect very much Walia to regain his first position in the let me say it correctly, GTN? Yes, in the GTN class. expect that Kella is gonna be coming out something like 15 to 20 seconds away from Walia, something like that. Whoops. Annendorp completely out of the track, having difficulties getting back into track. Oh, that's gonna be, of course, fantastic for Gerards. But Annendorp is having a moment there. What's happening there? There we go. Oi, oi, oi. Gerards, of course, is gonna be happy about that. And he's gonna be able to hopefully retake the battle. But I don't know exactly what happened there. If Annendorp still has to go to pits, he'll lose the position to Gerards, clearly. Gerards 14 seconds away. If he doesn't, then let's hope that he doesn't have another issue on the track. We are 15 minutes away from the... Tennyson going into pits. We're 15 minutes away from the end of these 2 hours of Le Mans, Classic Le Mans. And we have Diakowski in first on the LMP 900 class. Have a minute away from Krause on second and Beer on third. We have Dorizen as the leader in the GTS class. Over have a minute away from the second, Azaline. And we have Walia first in the GTN class, something like 20 seconds away from Kella in second. So I don't expect anybody else to come into pits, at least not for a normal pit stop, which would mean that Annendorp is not going to come into pits at all, and Gerards is gonna be staying on 5th. What a pity. They had for a long while, they had a wonderful battle between them, but it seems that that time has come to an end. For anybody new on the stream saying, wait, you're talking about the driver swaps on Assetto Corsa? There's no driver swaps on Assetto Corsa. Oh, and we see Zan was trying to use the overtake of the LMP 900 and trying to get a good position, but he lost there on his small touch. So as I was saying, you may be hearing me talking about no driver swaps and thinking, well, Assetto Corsa has no driver swaps. Yes, they have, with a mod that is used by the Assetto Corsa friends. So they are able to make driver swaps on Assetto Corsa through some clever hack thingy that they use. And yes, thingy is a technical term, because I say so. Ooh, Walia goes off. But I think it was only a small issue. I don't think he's lost that much time. He had to let Zan pass, but that's not an issue. Zan is on a different class. And it looks as if he's something like 20 seconds away from Kella. No, 15, okay, but still, with 10 minutes to go until the end of the race, I don't think that that's bad. Of course, if he does it a couple of times again, he might lose the position. Okay, of the LMP 900, Schramm is going into pits. That's strange, I wouldn't. But it may not be a standard pit stop. He may have to repair. And Beer is into pits, but I don't think he's gonna lose the position while we see Smisser losing control. I don't think he's gonna have any danger through Annendorf for his position. So the LMPs are going with about 10 minutes until the end of the race. Either they're miscalculated or they have a strategy that I would not have expected. Annendorf also into pits. I don't expect Gerards to come into pits. So yeah, the LMPs are coming all with a couple of minutes on the clock. Interesting. So let me see. I don't think Annendorf is... Okay, I was wrong. Annendorf loses the position to Gerards. Good that they did the swap before I finished my sentence. Annendorf loses the position to Gerards, not by much, as Gerards now has about 5.5 seconds. Ooh. I expect at the end of the race that Annendorf and Gerards are gonna be battling for position once again, as we've seen over a long time in this race. But it seems that Gerards, when he's in clean air, but he had clean air. Anyway, Gerards is pulling away from Annendorf. Now almost 7 seconds. Interesting. Of course, Annendorf has cold tires, and that may be one of the reasons why now, or for now, Gerards is taking off. And as soon as Annendorf gets his tires into the right temperature, the times, his racing times, lap times around Le Mans are gonna get better. Oh, Beer loses control. Only so slightly. Gerards is too far away to profit from that. Ay, ay, ay. With 5 minutes to go, we have Diakowski as first. Krause 40 minutes behind him. Would very much expect Diakowski to have that one done and dusted. Derizen second. Derizen first in his class with Azalin second. And Walia first in his class with Keller 20 seconds away. Therefore, I don't think that Walia has anything to fear there. Bia goes off once again, and this time is a big one. Let's see how much time he's lost to Gerards. For now doesn't seem to be so much, only a couple of seconds, 4 seconds or so. Yeah, okay. With the new timing, he's lost around 10 seconds to Gerards. Annendorf once again into pits? Oh. He may... Let's see. Maybe he's just having to serve a drive-through. Yeah, it looks very much as if this was a drive-through. Apologies, we cannot see the penalties on our live timing, therefore we are not sure if they go into pits or is a drive-through. So Annendorp is not going to be endangering Gerard's anytime now, as his drive-through put him 20 seconds away from any dreams he may have had. Three minutes to go on this, well, 3 minutes and a lap I expect to go on this race. Two hours have passed much too fast. And like it is in the WEC, once the LMP in first position has passed and has seen the checkered flag, all others are going to be seeing it too. There's no different endings of the race for the different classes. In fact, we've seen a couple of times in Le Mans the drivers of the GT classes getting slower so that they did not have to do yet another round of Le Mans. And we are 30 seconds away from the end of this race. And let us see where Diakowski is at the moment. The Porsche curves. I think he's gonna pass the start and end line with some seconds left. 3, 2, 1, no! Aha! Diakowski wins the race in the LMP 900 class. Oh, and we see the Ryzen going a little bit astray. Annendorp secures his 5th position. The Ryzen being 13 seconds away from the second. I very much expect him to win the race in his class. We're sticking with the Ryzen to see how he passes the start and end straight. I suppose Walia is behind him, right? Nope. Where is he? No. Walia is gonna finish first of his class. Like in some seconds, any minute now. There we go. And the Ryzen still at Indianapolis. So a little while until he finishes. Not long, but it's still a little while. What a beauty these cars are. Horizon on the last corners of Le Mans. And as was to be expected, the Horizon ends first in his class, so the classement looks like follows of these 2 hours of Classic Le Mans. Diakowski first, Krause second, Beer third on the LMP 900 class. The Horizon first, Azzolin second, Zegers third in the GTS class, and Walia first, Keller second, Armeanu we suppose is gonna end up, now he passes, third in the GTN class. That will be all for this race of the Assetto Corsa friends at Le Mans. 2 hours have passed by like nothing. Thank you very much for following the next race next Friday, the Assetto Corsa friends on 911 on Detroit, and it's gonna be an interesting race because it's gonna be a race in the wet. Yes sir, Detroit, Belle Isle in the wet. But for this race, this has been it. Until the next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.